All right, hi, my name is Emily Walker, and I'm just answering the questions for the reflection video. So let's get into it. So the first question, the reason why I wanted to be a teacher, so I've just always known ever since I was little that I wanted to be a teacher. The main reason that I could say was that my grandma was a teacher. She was a second grade teacher, and we were out and about all the time, and I always just got to see her students like in public and how they reacted when they saw her. And I just really wanted like kids to act like that for me too, you know? Kids wouldn't act like that if they didn't like my grandma, and my grandma didn't make a big impact on them. So I just knew basically from then that I wanted to be like her and I wanted to make an impact on students. Um, At this point, I'm just so excited to say that I am almost finally a teacher. I've been working towards this for so long, it feels like, and I'm just so excited to be able to finally say that I'm a teacher. So, I've learned many things from being a student teacher. Um, I've learned that teachers have to be flexible, patient, and organized. I was placed in a sixth grade classroom, and I always thought that I wanted to do little kids. So I was very nervous for this year, but I've learned a lot of things, and I actually wanted to stay in sixth grade after this year. So it was crazy how things worked out, but I met great teachers and got to know admin and other staff that helped me a lot throughout my student teaching process. They also helped me get a job for next year. So um, at the beginning of the year, whenever I was student teaching in my first semester, I was not really comfortable speaking out in front of the whole class. I was very nervous for that, especially since the kids were so much older than I was used to. But now I'm able to do that and I can focus on other things like being sure to ask higher order thinking questions and just really diving into the content more specifically instead of being just so nervous to even talk or ask a question or just like rush through the lesson. That's what I used to do. I put myself in the position where I could fail, and I think doing that is really important for teachers because if you can't fail or if you can't let yourself fail, then you're not willing to learn. And I think that's a big thing that teachers need to be able to do. So there were times that I failed, obviously, but I always learned from them and I learned from my mistakes, and I just believe that they made me a better teacher overall. So I also learned that a lot of the time children want to feel seen and heard, whether that be academics or social. I think children, they're always trying to tell you something, whether it be with their behavior or with their actual words. They're trying to tell you something, and teachers make a really big impact on students, and it can be positive or negative. So I'm going to try to make sure that that's always positive, of course. Um, but when you take time to actually listen to students, I think they notice and they help or they start to trust you because they're not used to it. A lot of students aren't used to actually being heard, and I think most of the time behavior stems from children obviously trying to tell you something, but also if they're bored in your class, then they're gonna start acting, so making your class engaging is also something that you need to do to help behavior. Um, but of course, behaviors are going to happen no matter what. And I think just focusing on not taking the behavior personally is a really important thing because that's something I used to do. And I had to kind of step back and be like, oh, well, they're not doing it because of me. They're doing it because of something else that's happening that I need to try to see and address. And that's helped me a lot too. Um, so when teaching, I learned that you have to be assertive, but you have to also include the students in your like decision making. And I think that setting that boundary between you are still the teacher, but the kids still have a say in your classroom is really important because they don't want to see you as just like they have to listen to you all the time and they don't get to choose or say anything in your class. Um, so I like to have a lot of dialogue in my class. It helps to keep students engaged, and um the kids don't just want to sit there and listen to the teacher the whole entire time. Teachers should have a variety of ways to teach and use multiple resources within their classroom. I think having a routine is really important as well. So having a routine, but also doing different things. Okay, so like the routine is set in place, so like every day you come in and you do a warm up, but every day that warm up could look different. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to do in my classroom. I think it's really important that kids know what to expect, but at the same time, they don't know exactly what they're going to do every single day. Um, I don't want them to get bored during my class, and I still want them to have like to know the expectations because then my classroom will just run more smoothly. But when it comes to learning, I think that each student has a different way that they learn. And as teachers, we need to incorporate multiple ways to learn in order for us to be able to catch each student's learning style. So making sure that we have a variety of different things that we do and implementing different strategies in the classroom will help every student. So the last thing that I learned is that teachers can teach all day long, but none of it matters if the students are not actually learning. So teachers can't just sit around and say, oh, well, I taught it and it's up to the kids to learn it. Like that doesn't work. So I think it's up to teachers to ensure that learning is happening, and that's when the formative assessments come in handy because you can say that you taught it all day long and you can say that you said it 5 times, but if the kids didn't understand it or they can't retain it, then and none of that matters. So being reflective and being able to change when it's not working is really important. And I learned that throughout my teaching, my year-long residency experience. So I think my biggest strength is being organized. I'm constantly thinking one step ahead and I'm able to explain things in an organized manner. So overall, this helps with my classroom management, but it's not the only thing that is needed. I think that I need to seek professional development in like the 6th grade curriculum. When I first started, I was overwhelmed with all of the higher level curriculum that came with 6th grade science. And I always knew that it was a possibility that I could teach up to 6th grade, like because of my certification, but I never actually thought I would. I came from a 1st grade classroom last year, and so it was a big jump from 1st grade to 6th grade, but um after I was placed in 6th grade, I loved it and I changed my mind. And I learned that I loved working with older kids, and um, that's what I'm gonna do next year. Um, so I was just really not used to like the rigor of the curriculum that comes with teaching the older kids, but I was patient with myself and I'm able to teach myself the material. It's basically just like relearning things you've already learned, but learning how to teach it was the hard part. So I think professional development opportunities would help and be beneficial in that area. So in 5 years, I see myself teaching in Huntsville, but in 10 years, I might move back home in order to be closer to my family. I don't know. I live 3 hours away. I'm from like the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So eventually I do want to have kids. Right now I'm young. I'm not thinking about kids right now. But eventually I do, and I just know being around family helps a lot when you have kids. And I think just having kids in general, I want my kids to be around family when they grow up. So I might move back home in 10 years, but I don't know. For the next 5 years, I think it's a good thing to be on my own and I can learn things that you can't really learn when you're at home living with your family. After the next 10 years, I'm not really sure where I'll be. It's crazy because like if you asked me a year ago, I would have probably told you that I would be teaching 1st grade, and then now I'm saying I'm teaching 6th grade. So things can change within a very short amount of time, and you just really can't ever say for sure what you're gonna do. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be a teacher. I'm excited to just see what's coming for me in the future. So that's it. Um, Congratulations on retiring. Thank you for the semester, and I look forward to seeing you at the pinning ceremony and graduation. Bye.